Excellent. So welcome everyone. Welcome to our Revolutionary Happy Hour for March 2018. And I did something special this month that I haven't done yet. Sparkling water! Cheers! It's happy hour! All righty. So welcome to the Revolutionary Happy Hour. We're going to have some fun and yet some really meaningful, intentional fun with our ever so amazing, wonderful co-hostess, Marian Head, and our Raise the Bartender. I'll let Marian introduce her, but I just want to welcome you all. And we have several that will be watching this later, so welcome to you too as well. And
who are you?
And I am Julie Kroll. I'm the co-founder of Good of the Whole. Thank you, Marian. I'm Julie Kroll. And it's nice to be here with all of you. So it's kind of a fun, uplifting time for me. I'm usually pretty chill and like, okay, here we are. And it's like, oh, bubbly, happy hour. And so I enjoy doing this. Thank you. I just want to give you a little bit of a brief orientation and a few reminders. Just so that our time together will flow in this beautiful, coherent way. A little bit of housekeeping. If you're new to Zoom, there is a button in the top, probably this way for you, but the top right corner where you can click on Gallery View instead of Speaker View. Speaker View will give you whoever's talking, like me right now, and then small boxes of everybody else someplace else. And if you click Gallery View, you'll have all of us in this beautiful quilt, and it makes the happy hour so much more fun because here we all are. So I recommend the Gallery View. And then when you're not...
add to that, you know you're in Gallery View if it says Speaker View.
Yes. Yeah. And you know you're in Gallery View if you see everybody. So thank you, Marian. And so welcome, Sharon. I'm just doing a little orientation. Welcome back this month, and welcome, Walt. And the second piece of housekeeping is in the lower left corner on most computers. It's different on devices. Every device is different, but in the lower left corner, there's also a mute button and a video button. And so when you're not speaking, you could be on mute. And right now, everyone is on mute except for Samantha and me. So you know how to do that. Oh, and Sharon. But you can mute yourself when you're not speaking and unmute when you go to talk. It just makes it more clear and concise for everybody to hear who's speaking. So we appreciate you being mindful of that. And sometimes if you're moving around or the dog jumps and knocks your drink over and you have to go grab a towel, just click on video and then you're in a private setting again on screen. So that's the brief housekeeping. As far as the evening goes, I just want to remind you that we're here to have fun and to play with the revolutionary agreements. And in playing with the revolutionary agreements, we're going to have some dialogue and conversation that take us a little deeper into that, but with the levity and understanding that we're really processing our experience with the agreement for this month. We're really not going deep into the agreement itself. We're talking about the experience of using the agreement. So as a reminder, we're going to speak from the heart. We're going to pause between people speaking. Take a breath, allow it to soak in, and be present with whoever's talking and speaking. And really kind of keep your shares to 1 to 2 minutes. If we're talking and processing, just be mindful that we want to get as many people involved and engaged as possible. So that's the brief orientation. And it's so nice to see you all. We're going to start with just a little attunement to that heart space that we're talking about. So if you'll join me, we're just going to take a few deep breaths together. You can close your eyes, get comfortable in your chair, and take a few deep breaths. Most of us are in the northern hemisphere. We're just going to celebrate the arrival of spring. Take a deep breath into spring. To equal day and equal night. And really feel the warmth of the sunshine welcoming in spring. I'm hearing the bells chiming on our courthouse square. The birds were singing all day. The skies were so clear and blue. Really breathe in those cycles and seasons. And then bring your awareness into your heart. The intention of the agreements and the intention of this happy hour is to really live intentionally from this heart space, honoring our values and being in relationship with all things in a healthy way. So we breathe into the heart and really activate that space for our call tonight. And with one more deep breath, deep gratitude for this opportunity to be in these agreements in such a way that it really creates a quality in our life unlike any other. So deep, deep gratitude. Thank you. And you can come back into the room. I'm just going to introduce our beloved author, teacher, coach, revolutionary agreements extraordinaire, Marian. Marian Head. Marian and her husband, Glenn, many years ago, 1985, invited some people into their home, and they wanted to just spend time exploring what would it be like if we really began living our values in every aspect of our life, in work, in our relationships, in family, community. What would that really be like? So they started gathering with people, and they created some agreements. And they met once a month for an entire day, and they began crafting agreements. What would it really be like if we lived these values? And what are the values? So they crafted and edited and tweaked and played, and every month for 20 years they gathered. They called themselves the Geneva Group, and out of the Geneva Group birthed these amazing revolutionary agreements, and people all over the world have picked them up. They've been used in all kinds of different situations, examples, workplaces, gatherings, all around the world. People have used them and tweaked them as their own. There's other authors. I have one right here. Our beloved Carolyn Anderson and Catherine Roski took the Geneva Group Agreements, which are the revolutionary agreements, and wrote the co-creators agreements, and then spun off with another book. So they've been influential for so many people around the world. And with pride, I introduce Marian Head. It's all yours, Marian.
Thank you. Thank you, Julie. Aloha and welcome to each of you radiant beings coming to our happy hour tonight. Are you able to hear me? Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay, good. Because I had this message, Zoom cannot hear your sound. It's like, well, Zoom can't, but you can, so that's what counts.
Yes, you're just a little muffled, so like maybe scoot your chair a few. Oh, there you go. Yeah.
All right. Is that better?
Yes, that is better.
Good. Just get that microphone closer to my mouth. All righty. So my intention for our time together tonight is threefold. First is to raise our vibration. Just saying it helps us, right? Raise our vibration as we celebrate our evolutionary journey together. So let's start by raising our glasses to raising our vibration. And then give ourselves a little liquid. Oh, did you see that mug? Julie, hold up that mug, Sharon.
Oh.
Love more. Thank you. For the good of the whole. Excellent. So that's number one. Number two is to just enjoy being with like-minded, like-hearted, like-spirited, conscious evolutionaries, I sometimes call us, and Barbara Marx Hubbard would call us. And third is to demonstrate how embodying the revolutionary agreement supports us on this evolutionary journey by being a structure. It really gives us a structure to be the change we want to see in the world. So this is happy hour. So let's get high tonight on life. So let's look at who's here tonight. Let's introduce each other. And first I want to introduce tonight's Raise the Bar Tender. And there she is, Linda Rosenthal, Dr. Linda Linker Rosenthal. Linda is one of the yummiest transformational leaders I know. What an intro. Well, her vision is for us to manifest healthy, aware choices that enable us to live every day with love, spiritual wisdom, confidence, compassion, self-respect, gratitude, peace, and joy on Mother Earth. Woo! And she helps us with all of that in her private healing sessions, her public events, and her classes. So tonight she's offered, Insight Out, right, Linda? Is that the name? You can give a website when you come on. Linda has offered to hold the space for us tonight to raise our vibrations and to offer up her bartender wisdom about this month's focus, which is the revolutionary agreement. I agree to look within when I react. So let's meet each other tonight. I invite you each to just speak your first name, where you're calling in from, and then one word or phrase that might be used by your closest friends to describe you.
Marion, did you mention that Linda is a certified coach of the Revolutionary Agreements?
Well, I didn't. and is currently teaching a program. All of our Raise the Bartenders every month are graduates of the Revolutionary Agreements certification program. And Linda is in the middle, or I guess you just finished the third, which is this agreement with her first class. So congratulations.
Yay. Thank you for letting me interrupt. You might want to remind them what their friend might say, a word or two. I interrupted you, but thank you for mentioning that.
Thank you. And thank you, Julie. Anytime. And the bartender, same. Speak your first name, where you're calling from, and then one word or phrase that your closest friends might say describes you. Who's up for that?
I'll go ahead and go.
Great, Samantha, and then Barb.
My name is Samantha Flynn. I typically go by Sam. I'm calling in from Lansing, Illinois. And I think something my friends would say about me is that I'm bubbly.
Oh, that's what my friends say about me, Sam. Okay, well, and I've got bubbly tonight. Pellegrino, bubbly.
Yeah.
And Barb, next.
Hi, I'm Barb. I'm from Highland Park, Illinois, and I think people would say about me that I'm open.
Open. Thank you for sharing that. Good. And who's next? Sharon.
I'm Sharon Hardy from New Jersey, Southern New Jersey, and my friends would say I'm enthusiastic.
It's a little, maybe more sophisticated than bubbly. Well, I don't know, Sam, maybe your bubbly is sophisticated, but mine is just effervescent. Okay, and next? For those of you who have joined in later, it's one word or phrase that your friends might use to describe you, in addition to your name and where you're calling from.
I'll go. Hi, sorry I'm
Hi,
late.
Rachel.
I missed the time. One word describing me is loving.
Loving.
Loving or heartful.
Yum. Loving and heartful. You got two words in, that's fine.
Well,
And where are you calling from, Rachel?
I'm in the Houston area in Sugarland.
Okay, Sugarland. Okay, thanks. And then I think I see Sharon and then Shanti. Sharon and Kenneth.
Hi, I'm Kenneth and I'm calling from Hawaii.
Woo-hoo.
And yeah, And what my friends would say is that I'm open.
Open. Good. Thank you.
I'm Sharon, and I'm calling from Marion's guest bedroom in Hawaii. And my friends would say I'm adventurous.
Adventurous. Oh, I love all these words, all these aspects of all of us. Thank you. Yeah. Shanti.
I'm Shanti Hart. I'm in Chicago, and I guess loving. I cheated. I asked Barb.
All right.
Sorry.
Hey, that's good. I cheated too. It was at my birthday party that one of my friends said, ask the question of everybody there, and there were like 30 or 40 people, what one word would describe Marion? That's how I know. So I listened to a whole bunch of people. And who hasn't shared with us yet? Linda?
Well, thank you for that beautiful introduction. Of course, I was going to say loving, and I still will always say loving, but I think the word that I'm feeling right now is pioneer.
Linda's a pioneer. Yeah, well, good. And then Walt, I saw your hand up.
I'm Walt, calling from very wet Hawaii, on the island of Kauai. And, you know, I would hope they would say compassionate, but I have to ask them.
Okay, have a good time with that. And knowing Walt, I would say absolutely. Compassionate. Might not be the first word, but it's definitely one of them. And who hasn't shared yet? Let's see. Henry, it's great to see you again. And I don't know who P Management is or the phone number 920. So jump in and introduce yourself, please.
They need to unmute.
So let me see. I will unmute them. So I'm unmuting you. Henry, I'm going to unmute you. So if you're there, let's hear your voice. I can't seem to unmute you. You're muted in. How interesting.
Can you unmute everybody and therefore unmute him?
Let's see.
Now you can hear 920.
I can.
Yes. Sounds like Bob.
It is Bob and Boomer and Noel and Sarah.
Oh, wonderful. 4 of you beautiful beings.
And so we are somewhere between Houston, Texas airport and dinner in a couple of minutes. And but we wanted to be in the energy of the happy hour for at least a couple of minutes. And a word that someone would describe me, friends would describe me, would be kind. I'll pass the phone to Noel.
Me?
Hello.
Aloha, Noel.
Let's see. A word someone used to describe me. I don't know. How about silly?
Silly. That makes me laugh.
Hi, this is Sarah.
Hi, Sarah. Aloha.
Aloha. Let's see. I would say probably visionary.
Okay. Haven't heard that aspect of ourselves yet tonight. Thank you.
So we're all here getting ready to start. Sarah just landed, coming to our weekend-long retreat on the revolutionary agreements. We're very excited about those that will be sitting in circle and living the essence of the agreements this weekend.
Fabulous. Excellent. Montgomery, Texas. Okay. Peaceful relationships in challenging times. Is that what it is?
Yeah, we call it the Peaceful Relationships Retreat. Peace in challenging times.
Good. Well, we sure need that. So thank you. Thank you for offering the agreements there. Okay, I'm going to unmute all and see if we can get Henry and whoever management is.
I'll go and encourage P Management and Henry to jump in anytime. I was trying to think of something creative and new that nobody has said, which went, oh, creative. That's one of them. But I came up with down to earth, authentic and down to earth.
Good. I love that aspect of you and me also. So Henry, for some reason, is not unmutable, no matter how I try to do it. So
On a call last week on a different Zoom calls, that happened to someone and they suggested that person sign off and come back onto Zoom again, and then everything worked fine for them. So I don't know if he can hear that or not.
okay. So if you go away, if your picture goes away, Henry will know what you're trying to do. And who is P Management, who is unmuted at this moment? Who's showing up as P Management?
Our mystery guests.
Okay, well, let's read the agreements. Just like at the beginning of every Geneva group meeting, we read the agreements aloud. Let's read the agreements today. So if you have your poster or a bookmark or your book, I think it's page 29, there's Shanti with her framed poster. Who would like to start us off? Starting with I agree to.
Barb.
I agree to live my mission.
Thank you, Barb. And Barb, what is your mission?
My mission is to, I had it all worded right. Let's see.
So it's okay
my
if it's
mission,
not worded right.
My mission is to enable and help the helpers.
To help
and
the helpers.
my mission is fluid, but at this point in my life, I am definitely on the help the helpers route.
Wonderful. And so now to say that and then to say the first one, speak the mission again, the first agreement.
I agree to live my mission.
Good. Excellent. Thank you so much, Barb. And who's next? That's the only one where I ask an extra question.
I'll say what I agree to speak my truth with compassion.
Thank you, Kenneth. Just jump on in.
I agree to look within when I react.
Thank you, Walt.
I agree to keep doing what works and change what doesn't.
Thank you, Samantha. Sam?
I agree to listen with my heart.
Okay.
I agree to respect our differences.
Thank you.
I agree to resolve conflict directly.
Excellent.
I agree to honor our choices.
Thank you, Rachel. Oh, Shanti, you're on mute.
I know now. I saw that. I honoring that choice that I didn't do that. Okay, so but now I'm going to agree to give and receive thanks.
Well, thank you for doing that.
I agree to see the best in myself and others.
Thank you, Henry, and it's so good to see you at all.
Good to see you, Henry.
Seeing your best in all of you. The next one.
I agree to look for blessings in disguise.
Okay, Sam, and I think there were several others. There was a chorus of people looking for.
I agree to lighten up.
Well, I want everybody to do that one. On this count of three. 1, 2, 3. I
agree to lighten up.
All righty. Well, who here has actually focused on the agreement? I agree to look within when I react this month, during sometime this month. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Woohoo! All right, good. Well, this is happy hour. So I'm going to first invite you, if you have a story to share about applying this agreement that has a happy ending, share with us. Rachel, please, and you're on mute at the moment. Thank you.
We'll unmute.
Thank you.
So my looking within when I react is some of you know that we have a lot of tough things going on in our house right now. And I just noticed that I'm getting like tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. And on Monday, I was just in recognizing how awful I was feeling. And so that I was saying, I'm reacting to everything right now and in a negative way. And, and I took time, I meditate regularly, but to have more time to say, what's really happening, and recognizing and realizing just some things that are missing, and that my regular energetic flow was just, where it comes in was trickling, and I needed to open it back up again. And so I made a private Facebook group a few years ago when I really needed some help. And I have very special people on this group that I just reach out and I post and I say, I need you to fill me up. And they do. And they send me notes and they send me emails and they post on my page, and it's private. Nobody else can see it. And so my recognition that, I was reacting was because I was not getting that love. And so getting that reopened was really, oh my gosh, thank you. So,
And there's the happy ending.
sorry. Yeah, there's the happy ending.
Yeah. Thank you, Rachel. Linda, I'm just going to ask you if Rachel was just sitting at the bar, if the bartender has any wisdom that she wants to share.
Should I send him pictures of the other stuff?
And mute yourself if you're not.
You think I don't know how much space.
I think that's Shanti Hart. If you can mute her, she must have took a call.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's done.
So raising the bar. Rachel, I think that's beautiful that you reached out and asked for that support and that energetic help from other people so that we know we're not alone. And I think when we look within, and this week, since I'm teaching the course, looking within in that moment, what I find, and I hear what you are saying about the tightening up, and we really bring pain on ourselves. And when we look within and realize, oh, this is about me, and we take that breath and let our shoulders drop and really relax our body and let it be what's happening before we, have to react or put our 2 cents in or make sure that we're right, whatever we're doing or saying, and just let go, let it be. And we feel that relaxation coming over our bodies. To me, that's one of the great responses to looking within. It's like, oh boy, I'm tight inside. What is this all about? So that's one of the hang up here on this high bar with me, Rachel, and keep asking, right? Keep asking for help and keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Raise the Bartender, Linda. And Rachel, you are also touching on the agreement we're going to be working with next month, which is agreeing to keep doing what works and change what doesn't. So clearly you saw something wasn't working for you and you set a new track. Oh, and Glenn just joined. Sharon and Kenneth over there. Good. Thanks.
A lot of the agreements coincide or roll in together.
Sure.
I remember how much work you had separating them.
Well, I didn't separate them. They did it themselves.
Yes.
We
remember the papers, the moving papers.
And I do want to remind those of you, or share with those of you who didn't read the chapter called The One Agreement, that all of the agreements, all of them, lead to the one agreement, which is being yourself with a capital S, your divine self. So that just came up to share that. So thank you for getting what you need to shine your light, Rachel. Who else has applied this agreement and has a story with a happy ending? Wait, first to Rachel and to our bartender. We're raising the vibration now. Raise the vibration. Whatever you're drinking is helping you raise the vibration. Okay. Who else has applied this agreement and has a story with a happy ending? Thank you, Sharon.
I was having a moment where I was looking at finances, and that can get me a little bit nervous or into a it's not enough consciousness. And so then I can often spin into, well, I need to do things about that, and go into action and try to make something happen differently. And looking in when I reacted, because I'm also experimenting with really seeing things from different perspectives this month. I thought, well, what is my heart saying right now? It's like I got the information I needed, and okay, this is the situation where it is. So you don't need to go do something. What does your energy want to do today? What does your energy want to do? And it was like, take a walk in the woods. Mm-hmm. It was the one nice day we had down in this area between the 4 storms, the huge storms we've had this month. It was like 60 degrees and it was like spring. So I went for a walk for a couple of hours and it was fabulous and I felt great. And I came back, and then this week, 2 things opened up, one for my husband and one for me, that will lead to additional income, and it's all good.
Yeah, taking a walk in nature. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
Thank you for pausing and following your guidance, Sharon. Yeah. Linda, do you have anything you want to add?
Well, Sharon, I just adore you. Sharon and I are colleagues from our training in the revolutionary agreements, and I love the pause and taking a walk in nature, and really appreciate what you said about just feeling the energy in the moment. What is, our reaction is our energy gone awry, and when we stop and we look within, it's like, okay, I can settle it down. What is my energy saying? It needs to go for a walk, or it needs to go take a bubble bath, or it needs to lay down, or it needs to, chill out, or make a great salad, or whatever it is. It's checking in that moment. It's really helpful. So thanks for reminding us that.
Thank you.
Thank you both. To Sharon.
Yeah. I'm going to have to go to the bathroom if I keep doing
this. Who's next? Who's feeling called to share?
This is Henry.
Hi, Henry. So good to see you again.
Good to be here. I guess what I did, my energy wasn't, when I was first here, wasn't fully present. I wasn't able to connect. And so it felt like I needed to take a shower to clear my energy. I think I might have picked something up during the day at an appointment, but I'm not sure. So I guess what I want to say is, as part of that, I didn't necessarily give myself so much time to go inward, but I knew I needed to do something to clear my energy, to feel more connected in and out. So just related to what people said, and it's probably in your book, but it's moving from that place of reacting, which is usually superficial in nature, to the place of responding. So the going inward is enabling to respond from that deeper inner place for me. And so anyway, so that's what I wanted to share.
Well, thanks, Henry. And you smell good too.
You know it.
And we're all crowded around this bar, so it's nice. Nice of you to have showered. Okay, so this agreement actually, at its depth, has to do with when we react to what someone else says or does. And that, in my experience, when I have a disproportionate reaction, which, by the way, Rachel's mother is the one who gave us that phrase. It's when we have a disproportionate reaction, we're not just talking about any reaction, but when it's a disproportionate, like a trigger, something that stays with you, you sleep with it, you get up with it, you can't stop thinking about that person and what that person did. For me, it always has to do with something unresolved in me. And today, when I was talking with Sharon, my friend Sharon, about this, she had a great statement that she used that lightens this up, because this can get heavy. It's like, oh, it's not about you. I can't blame you for this because it's really about me. It's about something in me. I have that same behavior, or I used to, or whatever, and I don't like it, and so it's really about me. And the objective about this for this agreement is it then breaks the tension between the two people. So it's not about the other person. I no longer have judgment about you. It's about me. Now I have to deal with that, perhaps, but my relationship is good with you once I realize it's not about you. And Sharon, would you share what you shared with me today? Do you remember what that was?
Trying.
There you
Okay.
go.
Take a statement that I have a judgment about a situation or somebody else. So, it could be that this person, I have the judgment that they were, let's say, really selfish. And just to make that statement of so-and-so was so selfish today. And then to take a breath and add, just like me. And then to really let myself sink into finding an example where that's true. Because I've noticed every time I have a charge like that, there's ways that I can see that reflected in my own behavior experience.
Yeah, just like me. Mm-hmm. I love that.
One way that when I'm just now thinking about this agreement, as Kenneth and I were living in LA recently, driving, I would use that a lot. Like some of these drivers, my attention's like, these guys are crazy, or they're going so fast. And I would just stop and think about times where I was late to work, or it's like, finding that place of compassion, like just like me, they think they're going to be fired if they don't get to work, or they've got to pick their kid up from school. And it just brought a place of humanness and compassion to me.
Thank you, Sharon. Okay, we give a drink to Sharon. You could take a teeny little sip, Linda. Cheers. So the word that you just said, Sharon, it's the perfect word, because when we notice that whatever behavior, whatever words are triggering us are also in us, then where we move to is compassion. And what a delicious place to be. Now that's a good appetizer to have with our drinks during happy hour. It's compassion. Yeah, nice. Who else would like to share their stories? And including Linda, if you've got anything to share. Yeah.
I do want to say that I just got a text, and I know who P Management is.
Okay.
It's someone that I know here in Northwest Indiana. Her name's Naomi, and she is listening tonight because she really doesn't know anything about the agreements.
Okay.
Was kind enough to call in and be with us. Thank you, Naomi. Maybe you'll speak up before the evening is over. So.
Yes, and I appreciate your letting Linda know, so that we know that you're here with us, Naomi. And I can feel you, and I'm happy that you're here listening. Thank you. Who else has a story to share? Henry.
I have a question.
Yes.
So you mentioned it's the disproportionate reaction.
Yeah.
If we just have a proportionate reaction, does that not mean that it's something specifically in us? That's
my experience.
Yeah. Okay.
My experience
good.
is,
Good. That's really helpful. Yeah.
Yeah, I might say, man, I don't know why that person does that. I mean, and then I go on and do the next thing. So Now, I could add, just like me, to the end of that statement too, if I notice it's a judgment. But this agreement really helps us when we're triggered and we're having this disproportionate reaction. Yes. Yeah, good. Thank you for clarifying that. Shanti.
Okay, well, so I think it could also be if it's something you need to learn. Because my example is we're dealing with the elderly grandma, and she had a traumatic day on Sunday, and I was the only person that kept answering the phone. So I actually had 3 conversations with her, and I've known her for over 50 years, and the only emotion that is acceptable in that family is anger. They don't share sadness or fear or anything. Everything gets masked with anger. So I stopped her. I said, now, wait a minute. You know, your son has been doing a really good job to try to help you out here. And he probably, you know, he's just kind of taking a break right now, but you have nothing to be angry about. Maybe you're sad. Well, yeah, I'm sad. And I said, well, you know, and I tried to cheer her up. And I forget, even I know said something goofy and like, which I do. And I laughed. And I've always done that with her. But she goes, well, that pisses me off too. You always are laughing. And I was like, and I didn't overreact. It wasn't disproportionate, but I was curious. I'm like, wow, there's some truth bubble that just flipped in her, and I'm getting real stuff. I felt like it was really true. And so the call ended. I said, I'm sorry. I was just trying to make you happy or cheer you up or whatever. And she's like, well, it doesn't. It's serious. And I said, oh, you're right. I wasn't being serious. And so later I just kept thinking about it. And I thought, you know what? I've been doing that the whole 50 years I've known her. So that's why she's been pissed off at me for 50 years. I thought it was because, you know, I was the ex-daughter-in-law, but it's because she doesn't appreciate my humor. And then I'm like, she doesn't have a sense of humor. And then it all clicked. I'm like, she doesn't have and why did I never once in 50 years notice this, that this woman literally doesn't have a sense of humor at all. And so I was grateful that I didn't overreact, but I just kept going, okay, there's something here, there's something here, there's something here. And then it pointed out to me that even though I could be very empathic and sensitive, when it comes to other people's human nature, I can be as dense as the deepest rock you have ever kicked with your toe, because sometimes stuff just has to be spelled out for me. And I wish she'd done it, 45 years ago. Maybe we would have had a closer relationship, but I got it before she left. So that's cool. I'm never going to tell her another joke for the rest of the time she's here. So I'm complete.
Oh, so wow. Well, this brings up some things for me, but I want to give the bartender a chance. I'll raise the bartender a chance if something's up for you, Linda.
I need another drink for that one.
Okay.
Yeah, those aha moments when we realize somebody is this particular way, and then I still have to look within to make sure that I'm not making a judgment. That's my judgment on someone, even if I've come to all of these aha conclusions. So looking within, there's layers and layers and layers, and you keep looking within and find more and more and more until there is no more judgment, until there's just let it be. And I will add that just in our political climate, I have had opportunity every single moment to keep looking within because I'm disproportionately reacting. I really want to shift back into my place of love and knowing that there's goodness in people, and then, oh, what's happening to our country? So I have, it's just great practice. I have to keep letting go, looking in and letting go. Yeah, I'm complete.
Thank you. Thank you, Linda. And Sharon's got something to add.
I was just going to say, but isn't that proportional? I think that's what Henry was getting at.
It is.
I think it's proportional to what's going on.
Perhaps. And Shanti, what comes up for me is years of trying to fix, help, support my mother with ideas that seemed helpful, and she would get upset with me and angrier. And then I got to the agreement we're going to get to in 2 months called Listen with My Heart. And I was practicing that, and that requires me not to say anything except maybe, gosh, that's tough. Wow, that must be hard. What are you going to do? Not what I would do, what you ought to do, whatever, but just really opening my heart and listening from that place and responding from that place. So this is another agreement. And when I did that, from the day that I started doing that, my relationship with my mother changed 180 degrees. We were fighting all the time because she was always complaining and I was always trying to help her. And then it was like, oh, I think I'll just listen with my heart. And she really just wanted to be heard. Yeah, which is very empowering. So I share that too. I don't know if that's specific for you, but hey, give it a try if you'd like.
That just raised the bar really high. Thank you, Marianne.
You're welcome. Well, let's drink to Shanti and her success, and then Henry will listen to. And Sharon, thank you for sharing. Proportional. Henry.
And what came to mind is something I mentioned the last time that I'm still exploring, but that idea of outside of, not when you're in direct contact with that person in a meditative place, to connect soul to soul with that person that you haven't been able to communicate with. And it may not be saying some kind of communication like you would if you were face to face, but it's just kind of being present there with just opening to understand, or opening to the place where that healing can originate from, rather than trying to work it out on the outside, or work it out even just inside you, but just being present soul to soul. So I'm still exploring that. I don't know if that's an answer, but it seems like that I'm thinking of another relationship, or something that came up for me, and rather than a proportional reaction, even just going to the place of kind of soul to soul, rather than, even a proportional judgment of that person. Thank you.
Thank you, Henry. It's a very good thing to remember. And when I have done the soul to soul work, it's not been with any agenda other than to meet that person at a soul level. And it's transformative. It's transformative. There's a being about it. It's not a doing thing. It's a great thing to do coming out of a meditation, or go into a meditation with that intent of meeting that person soul to soul. Wow. Yeah, it's very powerful. Thank you for adding that. Beautiful. Thank all of you for sharing your stories, for raising your questions, for raising the bar, for raising your vibrations. I'm going to turn this back to Julie to wrap us up.
Wow, this goes so fast, doesn't it? It's yummy. Thank you, everybody, and thank you, Marianne. I'm going to do just a little fun thing to close us. But first, I just want to make a few announcements. At the top of the hour, I mentioned that I am the co-founder of Good of the Whole. We have some of our Good of the Whole members here, stewards, and we have what, instead of a membership, we call a mentorship, because we acknowledge that those old membership models do not work for us and what we're called to do on the planet right now. And so we really are looking at getting rid of those hierarchies, getting rid of those systems that, I shouldn't say getting rid of, but evolving our systems to stay on that evolutionary edge. So we have a mentorship where we work on co-mentoring and being stewards together of really co-mentoring for the good of the whole. And these agreements just feel like a beautiful tool. It's like we're gathering, we're holding tools and resources together for evolutionary leaders to be here in community, just like this, what we're doing here with Marion and Revolutionary Agreements tonight. So I invite you to check out our mentorship. We're moving into forms and structures of how can we co-mentor one another and be together on this journey and steward that forward. And so with that, we have a couple offerings. We have a resonance call that we have once a week so that anyone can get on that resonance call, and we practice the tool of resonance, just like we're practicing the Revolutionary Agreements tonight, and understanding how to be in relationship together in resonance, but listening for the field to guide, listening for that impulse of creation, that impulse of evolution to move us forward. So we really come together and practice that without intention, without an agenda, of holding a field and speaking from that place and following the threads. And it's kind of a little training place, and it's a kind of a great way to connect. And speaking of connection, we also have what we call a coherence call that we started this week. Henry and I were there. Thank you, Henry. And we're really seeding the field with the coherence call. The coherence call is moving us more intimately into our connection with the field, and our connection with one another as evolutionary leaders, visionaries, change makers, and then really looking at how we can support and offer mutual aid of one another in our projects in the world. We call it we're kind of like the mothership where people could come in and dock in and be there and get nourishment and come to that yummy place of connection and fill our buckets, report in, learn more, and then go out into the world and do our work again, and then come back in and come to the mothership again the next week or whenever that next time is. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that. You can check out all of that on goodofthewhole.com. And Marion wants to interject before our yummy closure.
Well, I just wanted to ask a question. You said something about the field, meet in the field. Is this the field that Rumi talks about? Beyond the sense of right and wrong, there is a field. I'll meet you there. Is that field?
Rumi really does a beautiful poetic job of describing that field, as does so many artists, so many poets, so many spiritual leaders, and so many scientists. So if you want to learn about this field and how we're converging the arts, the sciences, and spirituality, come join us and we will explore that field together. It's what connects us all.
Oh, cool. Thanks, Julie. And I just want to take this moment, because I have the microphone, to thank Linda for raising her hand to be raise the bartender today, adding your wisdom. I just want to have a special thank you to Linda. Wow, that's so cool. Okay, back to you, Julie.
All righty. So thank you all for joining us today. It was really delightful. And just to kind of bring this all together, Linda had this image earlier in the week, and I just want to bring this image back as our closing, because this theme, this chapter for March has been to go within when I react. And we were talking about when our buttons are pushed, when we're triggered. So I want you to imagine with this full overcoat. You got this overcoat on, okay? Floor to neck. And we got all of these buttons all the way down this coat. Imagine all those buttons. Imagine what color your coat would be. What's the fabric your coat would be. Imagine what size of buttons. Maybe they're all different kinds of buttons. Maybe they're really tiny and hard to unbutton. Maybe they're great, big, fun. Just imagine all those buttons and just take a deep breath with me and close your eyes. And we're going to unbutton as many buttons right now as you can. A few deep breaths. and unbutton your buttons to let them go. That's what this agreement is all about. It really, really helps to just transmute those triggers, those buttons that get pushed. This agreement is helping us to transmute it. So unbutton. And with every breath, keep unbuttoning. See if you can notice any that might be stuck or difficult. Notice how fast you can do this. Maybe how easy it is. Maybe there's not even very many buttons left on your coat after practicing the revolutionary agreements for years. And one more nice breath. And if you feel comfortable, take off that coat and come back to happy hour, and we'll make a toast. So my toast is, I have two toasts. The first one is to taking off those heavy coats with no more buttons. Cheers.
I love it.
And one more toast. And then we have a minute or two, so if anybody else wants to add a toast. But here's my last toast for the evening to Marion. Thank you, Marion, for the revolutionary agreements and being you. Cheers.
Absolutely.
Cheers.
Okay, shall we unmute Marion and spend a couple minutes? If anybody else wants to cheer or say whatever, we're just got a couple minutes and we're ready to close. Linda.
I feel so light and free taking off that coat that weighs me down if I'm in reactive mode, disproportionate reactive mode. So those buttons are gone. Nobody's going to push my buttons, and I'm moving peacefully now through the world.
Nice. And I just want to acknowledge Creative Lady who came on and may have the wrong time zone. We're just finishing up this revolutionary happy hour for March. We start at 8 o'clock Eastern, and so do the math. It's 7 o'clock Central. It's 6 o'clock Mountain. It's 5 o'clock Pacific, and I can't do Hawaii. What is it there?
It's now 2 o'clock here.
2 p.m.
Last month it was 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock now.
So welcome, and if you want to stay on and have any questions about that, we'll be happy to stay on a little bit longer. Yes, Henry.
What came to mind for me is ridding ourselves of those buttons, but at the deeper level, opening to the more compassion buttons or the places from that place deep within us. If we can create or open to creating whatever that button might look like, that we can access.
But we could call that our belly button.
Belly up to the bar button.
You know what my mom used to say would say is that, you know, those of us who have belly buttons are allowed to make mistakes.
Good one. Well, I imagine I got the buttons off and it was a cape, and then I swung it out. It was like wings, and I was just flying with freedom. It was such freedom.
Beautiful.
I'm sure I'll find more buttons, but right now I'm feeling good.
Let them be gone. Let them be gone.
Yeah.
And you know, looking within
happy in the happy hour.
It's a beautiful journey to look within. It's always a beautiful journey to look within. Sometimes it's painful, but it's beautiful. So thank you. Anybody else?
Okay, I would like to say a month ago, I had never heard of the revolutionary agreements. I didn't know what it was about, and I am a student of Linda's, so I have to thank her for being my teacher, and this is actually our agreement for the week. And I'm already having such a great experience, you know, digging deeper into myself, and I think this is such a beautiful thing. I feel like I've thought this way for a while, and I think it would be beautiful if everybody got to hear about this. I know I've been talking a lot about it to friends and coworkers, and currently just spreading the peace. It's a beautiful thing. I love it. I'm really enjoying this process. So, and there has been some struggles along the way, but that's beautiful, and it's all learning experience. So thank you.
Wonderful, Sam. Thank you for sharing that with us. We have a newbie to the agreements, and then we have Rachel, who's a second generation to the agreements. Her parents were very instrumental in the development of the original agreements. So yeah, let's have the depth and the new, the light. Yeah, thank you all for coming in.
Yeah.
Ah, beautiful, beautiful. And just because you're new, Sam, I'm going to, and because there are others who haven't been practicing the agreements as long, there's often a question, well, what if my partner or my business associate or my spouse or whoever doesn't want to practice these agreements, or doesn't use these agreements? How do we deal with that? And here's a very important answer. Each of us needs to practice them more. So it's not about, even though I heard that you want everybody to have them, I will tell you that if we practice them, we'll have a better relationship with people, whether they're using them or not. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I definitely see that already, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, very nice, Sam. Oh, I got the God bumps. Wahoo! And thank you to the people who have come through my certification program. Walt is currently in the program. Sharon in the last program. Linda Sharon's also, I think you just finished your 8th session, right? Of her first program. Linda just finished her 3rd. Yeah, it's good. What an amazing, amazing group. So blessings on your day, on your night, on your life, and throwing you a kiss.
Mwah.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Aloha. And a big yes.
And a big yes. Right.
Okay, bye for now. We'll see you next month. Oh, next month, I agree to keep doing what works and change what doesn't. Pick up your book. We're on it tomorrow. See you all.
Thank you, creative lady.